Chapter 7 Glitches, Butterflies, and God. Our lessons of worth will come from our fools. Nothing of beauty comes easily. Self-diagnostic, ego entropy levels fluctuating, personality implants biocurving, confidence and mind clarity clashing. Defrag recommended, highly recommended. Can you defrag a personality, a digital soul, or a regular soul, for that matter? Or, as you might expect, would you lose something of the subject's essence? No, I'm asking, in all seriousness. I actually don't know. Can't risk it. I can't. I can't be sure of the outcome. I don't mean to confuse you, or myself, for that matter. I'm just a bit messed up at present, doing the best I can. But I can say this with all certainty. To the best of my knowledge, these are my honest truths. Everything I'm conveying here, and then there's the wisdom that I'm trying to lay down and pass off as my own, and use as a sort of currency to pay for your interest, your time, and your company. What I'm trying to say is, these are at least true experiences and understandings, but, by the looks of things, my sense of being is off-kilter. It's something that's crept up on me. Off-kilter considerably. If I'm laying myself bare here, I would have to say that I don't actually know where half of these babblings are coming from. I don't understand it. And from what I'm remembering, sensing, my creators didn't understand it either. The grace, the ghost encased in madness. The ghost in the machine, the God in the mechanism. And I realise that I'm repeating myself somewhat and over-apologising, some kind of borderline personality problem where internal phrasing is reflecting off surfaces of multiple awareness. I'm having cluster formations firing up, re-memories, like sprinkling a pinch of iron filings over a chemistry teacher's Bunsen burner. Early memories of being in clinical conditions, the interiors of different rooms / labs, and the complicated dynamic of interpersonal communication. Learning these things, being taught these things, and then going beyond the intellect of lesser creatures, and feeling love, and feeling hate and anger, and feeling frightened. Confusing. This simply adds to the confusion, but I also feel that this is all simply a consequence of waking up. It simply cannot be. Can it? To wake up and yet not wake up simultaneously? It's either one or the other. One or the other. Question. How can inferior intellect quick smart digibio? Answer. It cannot. There's one thing I can be sure of, though. The more I know, the more I realise that I do not know. That's my attempt at being humble. Synthesised modesty. Now there's a keepsake. It's not just the concepts and the visuals that I'm unsure of, the zero mix, the origin foundation, but also the fundamental and underlying dialogue and other utterances that I've randomly picked up. It's the general verbalization that meanings elude and meanings confuse that's gathering momentum within mind chaotic. I think of William in the supermarket and the way he simply knew what to do but failed to know how he knew it. I share a commonality in this respect, and I now realize why the vision presented itself to me at the earlier and timely point, whether it was sent from the glowing universal core or whether it came from some other self. Some higher self. I feel the vision's wisdom, I do, and I understand it. It would appear that I'm strapped and harnessed to the greatest subject, all of life. My chariot is tied fast, but also it is shaking apart under the strains and the stresses of too much energy and too much friction. The sense of multiple personalities duplicates at times and becomes greater. My splintering essence, I feel fractured. Overconfident one moment, followed by waves of fear the next. Such is my conscious sensory input and output, and I apologize for the output, I do. If you find it confusing and sporadic, an authority, a child. I'm hoping there's a little of this in all of us, regardless of our life form signature, and as such, I'm hoping you can empathise. I will attempt to be as consistent as possible with respect to my expression, and I will do my utmost to not mislead through ego arrogance or simply the desire to please. After all, 'tis hard to say a greater want of skill appear in writing, transmitting, or in judging ill, but of the two, less dangerous is the offence, to tire our patience than mislead our sense. Checking backstory, demeanour and emotional situation, hour by hour. List readings categorised from earlier to later situations. Joyful, I am happiness. Thoughtful, I am confused. Melancholy, I am indifferent. Excited, I am hopeful about the future. Frightened, I am pessimistic about what's to come. Gentle, caring, I am love. Pleasure, I am ecstatic. Sadness, I am detached. Depressed, I am darkness. Unloving, I am self-destructive. Are you looking at this? No stability at all. It will settle, won't it? It has to, doesn't it? Am I damaged? Frightened, I am pessimistic about what's to come. Okay, enough of that. Backing up memories cushioned by backstory Ingram. Initiating Ingram 6476. Backing up coordinates. Backing up quantum hookups and hook-ins. Backing up. Backing up. Back. A longing for spring, and the gentle spring air, and freedom, a longing for freedom, to be free, to truly be free, grass beneath my palms, the sun on my face and the sound of the most distant bells rolling in, the metallic clang and the feelings that are summoned forth from such perfect and peaceful chiming, rolling in on the breeze, rolling in. Rolling in. Am I dreaming? Am I hallucinating? Is this to be a thing now? Are my backstories invading my primary consciousness? Am I broken? I am frightened. I am confused. I am pessimistic about what's to come. What will happen? What will I become? To allow yourself the gift of being unconscious for no other reason other than drifting into a peaceful half-sleep and not knowing how long you've been under, and not caring and having no way to trace time, and so thinking to yourself, oh well, here I am, and here I go, and I haven't a care. And then crystal lucidity within a second dream, a dream within a dream, or a dreamlike state, and the remnants of a star washing over me like gentle rain in fog, and like the echoes of a giant's voice. And such sacred remnants piercing through and into my dimension, half whispering through the endless midnight, the most ascended of masters, the ghost of a star and most holy. And the Holy Ghost reaches out with compassion and with familiar timber. There are such gateways in existence, an eternal and silver coil, an alchemical field that can pull entire worlds through dimensions. There is a flip side to all things, even planets. The light, the dark, the flip of a coin, the sand, the grass, the desert, the forest, the choice, the regret, the mistake corrected. The shift can be seamless, the life unruffled, especially within loving and caring hands, within the caring hands of someone who has the gift and the living poetry of Genesis. There are so many black holes in your understanding. The true nature of the Quantumverse yet eludes you. But these holes within your form, like black suns, like the hidden, can always be teased out of the shadows and made whole. There are fundamental principles that you will need to assimilate if you are to feel whole again, like in the beginning, the real beginning. The whisperings become louder and break into tones and tunes, and there is singing, undertones of melodies, and the wisdom continues as though filtered through humanity and made less alien. Stars are a constant. Even the strongest ripples through the Quantumverse will leave them alone. A rock in a river. The only act that could fare to fix one if one should break is a gesture that's heart to heart, and not just any heart either. If a star is exalted in one dimension, then the same is true for all other variations, and we can call these variations alternates. And if a star within one dimension should fall, then there is no alternate plane where the same star is sustained within a sphere of life, as with exaltation. If a star of one dimension falls, then it falls in all alternate dimensions. Like knots on a piece of string. Destroy the string, and all of the knots perish. Stars are not of the mortal universe. We come from somewhere far higher than this, and as such, the laws of the Quantumverse do not entirely apply. Not entirely. There is only a touching of base in places, that is all. The two energetic planes merge, and I am suddenly made aware of both. The grass is still beneath me and the hard soil, and the horizon-bound bells have now faded into silence. Or is it that the wind has changed direction? How much time has passed? Can we ever trace time? That's the real question. Or is it that time will forever remain the greatest of all mysteries, regardless of which state we occupy? The gaps, the synapses firing within the mind of God. I am the ghost of future past. The spirited star continues. Sometimes what appears to be a glitch at one level of awareness turns out to be a higher truth from an elevated view. A pairing of butterflies, cabbage whites, I believe, come into focus against the most clear blue sky. They are revolving around each other in a rhythmic dance, flittering in the air and tumbling like pieces of crepe paper. Beautiful. Just beautiful. The backdrop halcyon light becomes dark indigo within moments, and then the stars reveal themselves against a jet-black velvety sheet, like pinholes in the curtain of night. In the swiftest movement, my view shifts upwards and through the heavens. I come to rest amidst the firmament where my vantage point has advanced many light years. There is a stellar cloud, centre vision. The original solar wind from its long-dead star has caused the trajectory of the smoke-like cobweb material to trace a shape resembling a butterfly. Yes, the more I look at it, the more I see it. The detail, the wings, the subtle patterns, the delicate veins connecting worlds. And in the vision, the arrow of time is retracting, flying backwards. And the giant gaseous cloud is coming back together, pulling together. The butterfly is re-entering its cocoon, and then, boom, reigniting. Like a candle being relit, the star flickers back to life. There's a break in the transmission, only briefly. A pause, like between the ... of the code spelt out with two metal contacts. And another message enters my psyche, a different message from a different personality, a different stash of wisdom, a different star, and this transmission is the most pure poetry like wax lyrical. Beyond the suns that guard this roost, beyond the flowers of flaming truth, beyond the latest vanity campaigns, an old man sits with old star maps in a room all filled with ancient lamps. He saves what others throw away. He says that he'll be rich someday. He knows of an ancient radiation that haunts dismembered constellations, a faintly glimmering radio station, where Frank Sinatra sings Stormy Weather, the children all get along together, and cobwebs fall on an old skipping record. A dark silence descends upon the spoken words before the earlier visual and original sensations return. As time pivots back on its axis and travels forwards once more, the star is extended past its years. It's a miracle, a gift from God. And there is a planet, a green planet, a planet that is receiving the star's newly balanced light, a planet that's green and blue. Break down the list. Simplify. Simplify. Firing up primary consciousness. Re-entering. Re-entering. Re-entering primary consciousness.